Today's video will deal with some spoilers for the final book in the Alphabet Squadron Trilogy, Victory's Price. If you haven't read it yet and you're planning on it, turn back now. I would consider the story of Victory's Price to be very personal, focused on the pilots of the squadron and how the Galactic Civil War affects them, especially in that final year. I thought it was great, but it's not so much about revealing new things about the rest of the Star Wars galaxy. That said, it does explore the Emperor's mysterious red-cloaked messengers a good deal. The Imperial Colonel Soren Kai spends much of the story obsessed with how they work, raising some questions about Operation Cinder. He wants to know how the messengers knew which Imperial leaders would be sadistic enough to carry out numerous genocidal attacks in the year following the Battle of Endor and leading to the Battle of Jakku. There's a long investigation, but to summarize, he and Erica Quell learned that the messengers were guided by a massive database under the Verity District on Coruscant. The database held information on every single member of the Imperial government: dignitaries, senators, stormtroopers, TIE pilots, even pencil pushers who took minimum wage jobs to put food on their tables. Anyone who ever donned an Imperial uniform of any kind was put into the database, and then every action they ever took was recorded. The reason for this was twofold. First, it's the answer to Kai's question. The database could calculate the most sadistic and loyal members of the Empire, and the messengers were sent to them so they could carry out the orders of Operation Cinder. I assume this database also calculated those Imperials that were deemed worthy enough to escape into the unknown regions with Rey Sloane after the Battle of Jakku. The second reason may or may not have been intentional, but in Kai's opinion it presented the greatest threat to the Imperials who were left behind in the galaxy. The database cataloged every single action by every single Imperial. By design, it was made to connect the dots between people and the countless atrocities the Empire carried out. It made as many people as it possibly could complicit in the Empire's crimes. Kai's feared the New Republic would use the database to hunt down every Imperial in the galaxy to hold them accountable for their crimes. He didn't trust that the New Republic would treat them, quote, fairly, and so he sought to destroy it. It's possible this was just an unforeseen effect of the database, but I tend to think that this was also by design. Kai's brings up a valid point that if the New Republic had access to this database, they could spend decades hunting down war criminals, holding trials, and making a big show of justice, which isn't necessarily wrong. In another video, I recently mentioned a line from Light of the Jedi, but it's still relevant. Peace without justice isn't truly peace. It would be difficult for the galaxy to move on with no accountability, but on the flip side, I think Kai's point is kind of valid, that such an action would take a long time, and it would bog down the new government with the past, rather than dealing with the present and the future. That sounds like exactly the kind of thing Palpatine would want, especially if he is off on Exegol doing, we're not sure what yet, healing, preparing the final order. I'm sure he would want some level of chaos during those 30 years where he was presumed dead to make his return a little easier. We don't currently know how well that worked. All things considered, it sounds like the New Republic handled at least this bump in the road fairly well. We've seen in Last Shot by Daniel Jose Older that there are New Republic prisons for the worst of the war criminals, but many Imperials also received pardons to some degree. Erica Quell, for example, is punished and has some limitations on her rights, but she considers her treatment to be more than fair. I think one of the traits of the Empire is assuming that everyone is like them. It's an argument that Star Wars has made many times. It doesn't matter who holds the powerful are all the same, but that's not the case. I think Palpatine underestimated the New Republic and their actual, real desire to help the galaxy instead of rule it with an iron fist their way. So for once, maybe one of his master plans didn't fully work out. If you want to check out Victory's Price for yourself, consider picking it up for free on Audible. Just follow the link in the description or visit www.audibletrial.com/StarWarsExplained. The audiobook is out right now, and the production value on all the Star Wars books is very high with sound effects and music. It's like listening to a movie. Signing up for an Audible trial will get you a credit for one free book, and you can use it on Victory's Price, or just about any Star Wars book you can think of. Or get any book you want. The point is, you get a free book, and you'll be supporting the channel when you do. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all our Star Wars coverage, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.